A conversation is about to take place with a man who is the current reigning, defending, undisputed MVP of the National Football League. A man who has come on this show for 2 years now, every single Tuesday, and chit-chatted about everything happening in his life and in football. The first year of doing Aaron Rodgers Tuesdays, he went on to win the MVP, and they lose in the NFC Championship game. This year's Aaron Rodgers Tuesdays were supposed to lead to a back-to-back MVP candidacy and also a Super Bowl run. Let's have the time of our lives while chatting with a guy who is known as the best ball thrower to ever play football.
Hell yeah.
Aaron Rodgers Tuesday became Aaron Rodgers Friday last week because the world was abuzz on the state of his vaccination status and COVID in general. Here we are 4 days later from that conversation. A lot of reaction, a lot of words said about it. Joining us, hopefully feeling good, Aaron Rodgers. Hey, man.
Hey, man. How you doing?
How are you? You okay? You sound good. You look good. Everything good?
I'm feeling better.
How was it? How was the entire run? Do you feel like in the house, the boredom, the loneliness, the potential reading of the reaction of Friday is the part you're dealing with now? Or how's the body? You think any lasting terms or lasting effects you feel as of right now?
Well, I hope not. I'm feeling really good. I'm definitely fortunate to have the type of care that I've been able to have. I know it's special and it's helped me get through this better. Also know that it hasn't been like that for everybody. I know this isn't a difficult time for so many people dealing with COVID, and it's been a tough 2 years for a lot of people. This has definitely been a time of a lot of reflection. I've had time to think about a lot of things in my silence here, in my quarantine inside. I'm obviously in Green Bay, not in LA as was reported. I have been at my house for my quarantine.
You look different.
Look, jokes aside, I understand that people are suffering, and this has been a really difficult time for the last 2 years on so many people. I think we all know individuals who've lost their lives personally, people who've lost their businesses, their livelihoods, their way of life has been altered completely. And I empathize with those things. And I also know how sports can be such a connector and bring people together in times of adversity. And I do realize that I am a role model to a lot of people. And so I just wanted to start off this show by acknowledging that, I made some comments that people might have felt were misleading. And, to anybody who felt misled by those comments, I take full responsibility for those comments. And I'm excited about feeling better. I'm excited about moving forward and hopefully getting back with my team and getting back to doing what I do best, and that's playing ball. It's been tough to be away from it. I've been, obviously dealing with the COVID, and I feel like I'm on the other side of it, thankfully, and thankful to still be able to have something to look forward to this weekend, hopefully.
Well, I appreciate you opening with that and stating that. And you talked about the reflection that you've had here all by yourself in your COVID cave over there in Green Bay, not in LA. That was wild. But that's your life, though, I guess. Game of Thrones, that guy turns the corner. Oh, is that Aaron Rodgers? No, that guy's not an athlete. He's terrible. That guy's life gets ruined. This guy's getting coffee in LA. His entire life is getting ruined. That guy's got tiny little feet, got no hair on his hands, and he's getting into a shitty car. Let's have a little bit of... This guy thought he was doing the right thing, is getting buried publicly by everybody, but that's life as Aaron Rodgers. And we all know from listening and chatting with you that you're very much a reflective person. You spent all off season, I think, doing a lot of self-reflection, a lot of finding yourself, a lot of figuring yourself out. And you've done that in the offseason. I think that is something that is about you that everybody who knows you understands about that. The last 4 days or whatever, since you came on Friday, where you spoke for 46 minutes or whatever about your feelings and why you chose to do what you do, the reaction afterwards, is that why you chose to lead off with that? Did you feel as if people thought you were maybe tone deaf to the entire situation of COVID? Is the response from Friday what you expected, what you didn't expect? respect? And at this point on a Tuesday, are you excited that football is potentially the conversation going forward?
I'm definitely excited that football is in the conversation. I'm not, just going to gloss over the last few days. I also, and people that know me know this is true, I'm not spending time reading things that are out there. I know that there's a lot of stuff out there. I know there's been a lot of comments said. I understand that this issue in general is very charging to a lot of people because we're talking about public health, and I totally respect that. I made a decision that was in the best interest based on consulting with my doctors, and I understand that not everybody's going to understand that necessarily, but I respect everybody's opinion. Go ahead. You got a question?
Yeah, the doctors that you consulted with, Dr. Joe Rogan and which other doctors?
Look, I have a lot of admiration for Joe. I definitely talked with about a dozen friends of mine who dealt with COVID, and they all were very helpful in different ways. Joe being one of them, but again, that's the society we're in. Again, I have no judgment. This is, hate is not going to bring us out of this pandemic. It's going to be connecting and love. And I'm not going to hate on anybody that has said things about me. I believe everybody is entitled to their opinion, and I always will believe that. I think that it's a time to move forward for me and talk about football. I'm thankful again to be on the other side of this and to be healthy and coming out of this, because not many people. There's been a number of people who haven't been able to overcome COVID. So I empathize with anybody in those situations. I've tried to help out in ways, where it made sense, not just in Green Bay, but in Northern California. And it's been a tough time on a lot of people and been a good time for reflection for me personally.
Have you talked to anybody since you came on Friday and made all your comments and tried to clarify things a little bit? Have you talked to people since then, like on both sides? Are people trying to reach out to you and try to educate you, or like have you jumped on a call with anybody to clarify anything at least, or try to explain yourself even more?
No, I stand by what I said and the reasons why I made the decision. But not really. I've been actually doing a lot of reading. You're surprised to hear that, but I've been doing a lot of reading and watched some ball on Saturday, and obviously on Sunday watched our guys. So I've been really insulated to a lot of things, and on my own choosing to just go inward and be reflective and meditative and read, and then also I love football, so Saturday and Sunday I watched some ball.
Okay, so last question about this whole thing before we move on to how it was for you to watch the Packers play against that Chiefs team and what you look forward to going this week and everything like that. Whenever you say you have been, what was inundated? Was that the word you used? Draconian last week. Now, I think insulate, whatever the case is. You've been in your own little world here, obviously. When you see reports come out that say you're upset about the reaction, and then that garners, and you might not even know this, now there's an entire news cycle happening about you being upset about the reaction to what you said on Saturday because people had an anonymous source that told them how you felt about this. Is this why you said you just try to stay out of everything because there's just so much shit that comes out about you and everything you do? Anonymous sources now, with how you reacted to the reaction of your reaction to the COVID situation, is now starting an entire news cycle and a judgment on you as a human. Do you just try to stay out of that, or do you want to maybe try to address those things? How do you handle that, you think?
I don't really feel like there's a need to address that, Pat. I mean, I've talked to a small number of people, people in my inner circle who wouldn't go on the record to be an anonymous source. Look, it's been a reflective time for me. I've had some great conversations with people, people who are vaccinated people and people who are not vaccinated people for various reasons. I respect everybody's opinion, and I don't only talk to yes people or people who allow me to live in an echo chamber of my own thoughts and beliefs. I'm a lifelong student. I love learning and acquiring information and talking to people with different point of views than I have, so that I can understand situations and their feelings better. That's how you grow. That's how you learn. That's how you become either stronger in the points you believe in, or how you adjust your own belief system. It's only through question and study and conversation. So again, there's obviously going to be stories, but I'm not going to chase these stories down. I'm just going to get back to doing what I do best, and that's playing ball.
Okay, so it sounds like with the way you're talking about getting back into football and the excitement of getting back out there and doing your thing and watching the games all weekend. In one of your quotes, you said on Friday, the right's going to champion me, the left's going to cancel me, but I don't give a shit about either of them. Politics is a sham. In a roundabout, I don't know if that was your exact quote, but it was a roundabout. That has happened, by the way, and I don't have the ability to read or meditate, so I have been in the streets of the Twitter mentions of you for a while because obviously I'm getting tagged in a lot of them. That has happened, and it sounds like you have zero desire to continue to be a poster boy for anything like this. Is that an accurate assessment on the entire situation?
That is, Pat. I'm an athlete. I'm not an activist. So I'm going to get back to doing what I do best, and that's playing ball. Like, I shared my opinion. It wasn't one that was come to frivolously. It involved a lot of study and what I felt like was in my best interest for my body. But further comments, I'm going to keep between myself and my doctors, and I don't have any further comments about any of those things after this interview.
All right, dope. There's going to be investigations into the protocols and everything like that. The NFL will have its say. It'll continue to go because you're Aaron Rodgers, but we can't wait to watch you fucking sling the pigskin again, dude.
Hell yeah.
Let's go, man. Who was the golfer that got COVID and then became a better golfer afterwards? What was his name? Big guy, Spanish guy.
John Rahm.
John Rahm, he does that. There's been stories of, people getting COVID and coming out on the other side somehow better, whether it's because they are forced into an isolation reflection period and mentally you can adjust some things whenever you're being forced to sit out of what you do. How do you feel mentally going into next week? Did you learn anything from watching the game at home? Is there a new perspective? Just where are you post-COVID getting back into football, Aaron? Excuse me. So sorry to interrupt. Hey! Did you know at the age of 30, your testosterone levels start dropping 1% per year? Wow! That means you're gonna get fatter, more tired, and lose the strength that you once had. But no worries, our friends at Roman have the perfect product for you. So you can get back to banging weights, banging humans, and living your best life. $15 off right now. GetRoman.com/USA. Back to the action. Hey!
Well, I've watched 3 games on TV now in my career. I watched a game in 2006 after my foot surgery against the Seahawks. I watched a game against the Saints after I got my collarbone surgery in 17. And this one now is my 3rd one. It's not fun. It's hard to be away from the team. I'd rather be on the sidelines not playing than watching from home. It is a different perspective with the camera views and some of those things. But look, it's hard to be away from the guys. I missed being there. I'm proud of my guys. I'm proud of the way they battled. All the guys. I thought the defense played really well. I'm proud of Jordan, the way he battled. I thought he hung in there and played tough and made some really good throws. Obviously, special teams was not special in the game, and with a couple things cleaned up, that game looks a little different, I think. So we got to be better in those phases, but yeah, I don't want to miss any more games. It's hard to watch.
Hey, so as far as you know, what is your situation going back? You're allowed to go back to the facility Saturday, and do you have to test negative or not? And have you given any thought to what it's going to be like? Are you nervous? Like, it's a weird first day to go back to now.
Not nervous. No, I'm excited. I mean, I've heard from so many of the guys. Kept in touch with them. I mean, every single day I'm hearing from a bunch of guys and the coaching staff. So, the whole organization has been really supportive and great through this time. So I'm excited to get back with them. I was just texting with a teammate actually right before this. It's the hardest part is being away from those guys. But as far as I know, it's 10 days is up, and Saturday I can go in the facility, and then I'll be able to play after that.
Okay, so you'll be in Zoom meetings all week. Will you be through the walkthroughs as well? Because there were some coaches. I mean, I think you being there is just as important as some of these coaches that allegedly get voice of Godded, iPadded into the walkthroughs and practices. Is that going to happen? Has there been conversation about that?
Yeah, I'm going to be a part of as many of those conversations as I can. So I'm sure there'll be Zoom links coming shortly to my email for Wednesday.
Is there any thought you're not going to play on Sunday at all? No.
I think there's a possibility, but a small possibility.
Was that because of you, health-wise, body-wise, or preparation-wise?
I just did believe that there's a health hurdle that I have to, as far as like movement and sweating and getting into it, making sure that my body is, especially your heart is fine with physical exertion.
Have you tried any of that yet? Have you got in your backyard and maybe ran a solo 2-minute or something? Have you tested yourself physically?
I haven't done that. No.
Why you lying?
You know what you should do? You need to break the huddle too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Hey, you got to worry about potentially breaking the huddle. Have it. Ready? I think you need to do all of that. Just like Russell was coming back was doing before the game. How are you going to adjust that? How are you going to mock a practice while you're locked in your house all by yourself?
I don't know. I'll figure something out, man.
What the fuck?
How do you know if you're ready physically, though?
What are you going to do? How do you know? Like, that's real.
Yeah, how do you get over that hurdle?
Well, I'm going to start working out. I've been doing some walking and some yoga, and I'll just amp it up this week and do some higher physical exertion throughout the week and conditioning, and hopefully, feel great on Saturday, go through the walkthrough, and then be ready to roll.
You said that you did a lot of reading. Was also like, do you just start studying for the Seahawks last Wednesday when this all starts happening? So you almost come off a bye week mentally against the Seahawks, or is that starting like this week, normal standard game preparation?
Fairly normal, I would say. Maybe a little bit of jumping ahead, but fairly normal other than that.
Can I ask you about Jordan Love's performance and your thoughts on what it could have been like for him or what it had to have been like for him, especially, with his mom and girlfriend sitting in the top of the top row up there, which, by the way, that is something that does happen in the NFL, especially for younger guys, whenever the ticket allotments at away games. I don't know if I've ever seen a starting quarterback's mom on the last row up there, but that is an entire gamesmanship that happens sometimes between teams about where the tickets are at. But your thoughts on Jordan's performance, especially with the situation he was thrown into?
Tough situation, definitely. I'm really proud of him, the way he went about his business. It is true, like the ticket stuff, they will put home team, family in some of the worst spots probably in the state, in the top row. I always think about Chicago. Where they put those seats up in the top, right cold area where the wind just hammers them at that point. But I'm proud of Jordan. I thought he hung in there, and the only thing I told him during the week was just to trust his feet, because he is a very athletic guy. And I thought he did a nice job of avoiding sacks, getting out of the pocket, making positive plays out of potential sacks. And I might have got sacked in certain situations. He was able to lucidly get out of the pocket there and have positive gains. There were nerves going for sure. How could there not be? And a tough environment to play in. One of the loudest outdoor stadiums in the entire NFL against the reigning 2-time Super Bowl representatives from the AFC. So. I'm proud of the way that he battled. A big touchdown to keep us in it there in the fourth, and then obviously just couldn't get the ball back at that point. But I think there's a lot of really good things to build on, and I think that should give him confidence moving forward.
24.5 million people watch that game, I think, which is up over something like that. Everybody's assuming that if you do clear the medical hurdles that you will have to clear with that on Saturday, then they'll have to put you through those tests.
I think there'll be some sort of clearance test to happen on Saturday. Yeah.
So I assume the next Packers Seahawks, with Russ coming back with the pin, with you coming back, that number is going to be even larger. And Jordan knowing all of that, by the way, Jordan has to know all of that. When you're watching that game from home, Are you standing up in your shotgun thing? Are you dissecting what you would do? Are you doing game checks? Are you doing mental reps? Or are you just watching as a fan pulling for Jordan like, Is that how you watch that game?
I'm mostly laying down watching. But, obviously I understand what our offense is and what we're trying to do. So I'm trying to guess the plays as we're breaking the huddle based on formation and motion and if there's any, checks that Jay was doing at the line of scrimmage. But, yeah, those are your boys, So I'm pulling for all those guys. And it's weird because, on TV, the angles are so tight. Jay threw a ball up there. And you're just like, who's that going to? And then Cobby comes down with it, and on one of our big scramble plays that kind of got us going there. And then when Allen scored his touchdown, Allen's a good friend of mine, so super pumped for him. But yeah, it was good to see Marquez come back and run around a little bit. And I thought some of the stuff we did with some of the 4 receiver packages was good, especially not having Bobby. I thought Mercedes played really well. I thought the line did a nice job. And then defensively, man, those guys played outstanding. Just really, really proud of those guys.
How about A.J. Dillon seems to be coming into his own? I don't know if that's just like more mature experience or the offense, he's starting to either grasp it or you guys are starting to take advantage more of what A.J. Dillon is. How do you see him growing, especially with Aaron Jones back there? That is quite a tag team to go into the playoffs with.
Well, his catching of the football, I think, has really improved. And every game it seems like he's making a play in the pass game. He's making a catch and making a guy miss. The running is kind of the standard now. He's averaging 4+ yards a carry, and he's making guys miss, and he's bouncing off guys, running behind his pads. It's been great. He's been a great 1-2 punch for us with Jonesy. But his catching of the football has been really, really solid. I mean, he's been making things happen consistently with it, so I'm really proud of him. He's a great kid, though. I mean, he really is. He works his tail off, and he's just a really good teammate, good locker room guy. And it's fun to see his role expand and him make the most of those opportunities.
Could you imagine being a guy that would talk shit on A.J. Dillon from a hit that you made in high school as a 19-year-old and A.J. was a 13-year-old, and then you would still talk shit to this day about that thing? Could you imagine that, Aaron?
Is that Connor or what?
Yeah. No, not me.
Hey, it was a big time shot in high school, though. I mean,
won the game.
It was that one hit.
It sent the message that ended up carrying through the game.
All right. Anyways, you still
30-yard gain.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah, but the message.
But the message lasted.
From the 19-year-old with scratch offs literally in his pads to the 13-year-old that just got dropped off.
Thank you.
I mean, that is unbelievable that actually happened. But you guys have an Oklahoma drill. It needs to be settled. Go ahead, Todd.
See.
Aaron, fingers crossed you can play Sunday. When you don't get practice reps during the week, I don't think with a guy like Devontae it really matters because you guys just pick up and you'll be on the same page. But with MVS, who's been out for a couple weeks now, does that worry you at all? Or how long will it take? How long does it take to get back into rhythm with some of those guys you haven't played with in a couple weeks?
Yeah, I mean, that might be a little difficult, but we have a lot of banked reps. We have a lot of banked conversations about things. I'm not worried about the continuity between, Randall and myself and Devontae and Allen and MVS. We have so many reps that we've had over the years. There might be, opportunities for for just being a tad bit off or miscommunication. But, we're going to be talking all week about the plan, and then we just got to go out and execute. That's what we're paid to do is to be able to perform those moments, and hopefully we'll be lockstep when we get out there on the field.
Hey, I hope your heart's good. I hope your body's good. I hope we get a chance to see you perform on Sunday against Russell Wilson, who just had a pin removed from his finger, working harder than any human in the history of injuries to get back. It should be an absolutely electric affair. And before we get to the book club, I have one final question. And I hate to go back to the last 4 days. Feels like we have been moving forward here. I hate a lot of people for the way that they acted after that Friday thing. There's no way you're isolated enough that you don't hear any. You had to have heard. There's some massive names, politicians. I mean, your name has been spoke by a lot of people. Are you just, because you're like, hey, love will cure this thing. How are you not going to hold a grudge to everybody? And do you know that you're probably never going to win an MVP again? That's probably never going to happen, right?
I think that's a legitimate statement.
Legit though, like that. There's a lot of people that vote for that I think are not fan. Like, how do you isolate that? How do you stay away from that? Because you're talking about everybody on earth talking about you. That's not getting you down at all. I don't know. That's incredible mental toughness if that's the case.
Well, you know what? I think first, if you find your identity in yourself and you don't find your identity in the opinions of others, you don't need that validation and that love from other people. You can get it from yourself. And that's not being selfish. That's just learning how to, in a healthy way, love yourself and respect yourself and believe in yourself. And it definitely was tested, by some of the comments that I heard and saw. I'm human. I mean, stuff can definitely hurt your feelings. But look, I shared an opinion that is polarizing. I get it. And I misled some people about my status, which I take full responsibility of, those comments. But in the end, I have to stay true to who I am and what I'm about. And I stand behind the things that I said. And I, have a ton of empathy for people who have been going through the worst part of this pandemic, which has affected all of us in different ways. But so many people, like I said, with lives that were lost, lives that were forever changed. And I have a ton of compassion and empathy for those people. And I've tried to help out, as much as I can.
Yeah.
The other stuff is so out of my control, and there's going to be people that don't like you, that don't and hate you for things you said, or might not even understand what you said or know what you said, and might just seen a headline, and that's fine. I believe that people are entitled to their opinion, and even if it's an opinion that's unfavorable to me. But I'm going to continue to try and be the best version of me moving forward, and I'm excited about getting back on the field as soon as possible.
Hey, do you know if offense or defense is getting introduced this week in your game? And have you thought about it all, like what the reaction may be if offense is introduced and you're the last guy out? Have you thought about that?
I think it is offense, and I'm excited. There's nothing like running out of that tunnel last, especially.
You think it'll be different one way anyway than your normal, how they normally respond?
I don't know. I hope not. I hope
They should show that on the network.
Oh, that clip will make its way.
Oh, yeah.
That clip will make its way around. Can't wait to see you jog out, because that means you'd be healthy enough to play, which is what it's all about. And sticking true to yourself. Let's stick true to this segment. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time to wrap this thing up with, the most intellectually impressive thing this show has ever been a part of. Ladies and gentlemen, it is now time for week 10 of the Aaron Rodgers Book Club. Graphic, please. First, it was The Alchemist. Then, Where Men Win Glory. The Giver.
Basically identical.
Be Here Now. All right, let's stop. Did you see this? I had to do it. Shout out, Dirty. Good work, Dirty.
Good work, Dirty.
This was also a part of that decision-making process earlier about the graphics, AJ. Aaron, you led off Saturday Night Live, dude.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
All right, no response. Let's get back to the book club. The 4 agreements. You are the universe. The art of war. The power of now. And The Outliers was the last book, which was so fantastic. Hey, why are these people so successful with the things that they're doing? Well, maybe because they come from situations in which it is conducive to do the things that they become successful at. Maybe the research should say, oh, this person has done, for instance, the computer nerds. This person was one of 50 people on Earth that had access to computers as like a freshman in high school and knew more about computers than anybody else on the Earth because of where he was from. He went on to be fucking Bill Gates.
Wow.
Yeah, The Outliers is a great book. Outliers is a great book about success. I can't wait for week 10. The book for Aaron Rodgers Book Club week 10 is?
Look, I thought it was perfect this week to put this book up. It's one that I look at every single day. It's called The Daily Stoic.
Oh, The Daily
Ooh,
Stoic.
Ryan Holiday.
Yeah. and it's meditations on wisdom, perseverance, and the art of living. It's short little passages associated with each day of the year, actually, and it's just things to think about that can elicit some thought or meditation. But this book was recommended by a friend of mine a while ago, and it's fun to look at each day for a little bit of wisdom and something maybe to meditate on during the day. So
Yeah, it also helps potentially if the whole world's attacking you. Open up the page Wednesday, Thursday of the Daily Stoic, and let's figure it out. We appreciate. I thought it was potentially going to be the 500-page report. It was not. Maybe one day we'll get that. I can't wait to read the Daily Stoic. I hope you get healthy. Thank you so much for joining us. We hope you feel better, and good luck on those internet streets. I'm not sure it's ever going to slow down out there. Not that you care.
Thanks for all the support and all the people that reached out over the last week. It's really helped me during a difficult time. So thank you guys, and can't wait to be back on the field this week.
We can't wait to see you, ladies and gentlemen, Aaron Rodgers. Oh, open it back up. Is he there?
He's gone. Want me to call him back? Call him back?
This son of a bitch.
He's gone. Maybe next week.
Yeah.
Next week's the week.
I think we get a song next week when he comes back. He jogs out.
Yeah.
He jogs. Let's get to a break. Got to get to a break. We'll be back on the other side. People are going to be pissed.
It's Ariel Hawani, right? Is Ariel coming on to back him up again?
No, but I did get enshrined on his studio wall.
Yeah.
All that, man. Congrats.
Well, I'm enshrined, and I think I'm entrenched in a war potentially with a double champion of the UFC, which I do not want to be a part of.
Yikes.
Hey, Daniel Cormier, I hope you and Ariel make it right, man. You're awesome.
Yeah. Love you, DC.
Love you, DC. Don't you listen to what Ariel says.
No. He's a clown.
Although I am, he is.
He is.
But I'm on his studio wall, whatever the case. We're back in 4 minutes. I'm going to go check the internet, see what happened.
Yeah.
There's a couple moments in there I thought, there's some shit that could potentially pop off.
For all the football talk, the whole time he was talking football, I'm like, nobody's listening. No one cares about football right now.
Not a single person.
Unfortunately. But yeah.
I will not be speaking about that after this interview.
No.
I couldn't imagine what his life is like right now. People magazine, he's allegedly, anonymous source says, not happy. Here's him getting coffee in Los Angeles. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Politicians tweeting about it. He doesn't even know, I guess. He's just in there with the Daily Stoic, dude.
Awesome.
I wish I could do that. That'd be cool.
Good point about John Rahm, too. Who knows?
Yeah.
Might throw for 500 on
John Rahm came back post-COVID better than John Rahm has ever played golf.
Yeah.
one.
And he was playing pretty damn good when he got COVID.
And what happens if Aaron comes back and lights it up? The MVP voters are going to be like, not this year, pal.